2018 Vauxhall Corsa Hatchback Review. The good points of Vauxhall Corsa Hatchback. Strong equipment levels for some versions. More engaging to operate a vehicle than many rivals. Sweet 1.0 litre engines from 2014-18. Fine VXR performance versions. The bad points of Vauxhall Corsa Hatchback. Based about the old one, discounted until 2020. Pricey PCP finance weighed against new arrivals. Non-turbo engines give weaker performance. Sporty GSI model slower than rivals. Like the Ford Fiesta, the Vauxhall Corsa is regularly located in the top 10 number of best-selling cars from the UK, finding a large number of new homes every month. That's impressive if you think about that it's still largely exactly the same car that debuted over several years ago, having a significant overhaul built to the styling, engine lineup and interior in 2014 to take it up to now and keep it fresh among its numerous rivals. The recipe is a superb one, with sharp searches for the three-door version along with a reasonable collection of engines and trim levels, though Vauxhall's PCP finance offers will often be well off the pace, leaving the Corsa with higher monthly bills than many rivals. Despite this, the Corsa is strong competition inside sales charts with the likes on the Peugeot 208, Renault Clio, Volkswagen Polo, Seat Ibiza and Skoda Fabia, and also many others. Vauxhall Corsa significantly updated in 2014. When it visited 2014, the actual Corsa was really a hefty overhaul on the outgoing car, compared to anything all new. The biggest visual changes because of this generation Corsa within the 2006 original are only at the front, that has a sharper overall appearance with larger grille and distinctive headlights with recognizable LEDs like you'll find around the rest in the Vauxhall range. It's the medial side profile where this as well as the previous Corsa iterations look most similar, because the windows continue into the latest generation. The more coupe-like glass outline from the three-door is slightly extended using a glossy applique just behind the rearmost side window. Major 2018 Vauxhall Corsa range revisions. You'd better just like the Corsa, because Vauxhall confirmed that it'll remain discounted in this form inside UK until 2020, if it will be replaced using a new Peugeot-based hatchback. That explains why from April 2018 the trim level structure was revised and slimmed down, restricted to Active, Design, Energy, Sport, 3NAF, 3VX Line NAF Black, SANAF and VXR. Vauxhall also reintroduced the Corsa XC offered to order from July 2018, which sits below the Rapid VXR models, which were discontinued. At exactly the same time the quantity of engines was significantly pared back. All are now 1.4 litre petrols in 4 states of tune. The economical diesels along with the much-liked 1.0 litre turbo petrols are not anymore. Vauxhall Corsa's high-tech interior and sharp drive. Climb from the Corsa plus the Atom City car's influence is obvious using a stylish dashboard featuring soft-touch plastics with the upper molding, more technology. Virtually every version gains advantage from the IntelliLink multimedia package. It drives significantly superior to the old Corsa too, riding more pliantly on comfort suspension models. However, sometimes there can be a little an excessive mount firmness on people that have the sports setup. Varied selection of Vauxhall Corsa engines. Over the Corsa's life cycle there is a mix of impressively efficient engines, while using focus being economy in lieu of high performance. So, none on the range completes the 0 to 62 mph acceleration in under 10 seconds, save to the XC plus the flagship VXR, that's no longer available new. VXR aside, the headline-grabbing engine was the 3-cylinder 1.0 litre turbocharged petrol, in 90 horsepower and 115 horsepower outputs. We were particularly thankful for its refinement and balance between speed and efficiency, so it is a pity that it was dropped in spring 2018. It's also quieter than Ford's similarly sized EcoBoost engine. Depending on wheel size, The lower-powered version on the 2 units boasts as much as 65.7 miles per gallon and since little as 100 grams/km of CO2. It's not the most beneficial Corsa though. That on still is probably the 1.3-litre diesels in 75 horsepower and 95 horsepower forms, where Vauxhall claims up to 88.3 miles per gallon, leading to CO2 emissions of 85 grams/km. Again, the diesels disappeared included in the 2018 range rationalization, as did the unfancied 70 horsepower 1.2-litre petrol. Depending on trim, the 2018 engines are limited by non-turbo 1.4-litre petrols delivering 75 horsepower and 90 horsepower, along with turbo motors of the identical size producing 100 horsepower and 150 horsepower. That 90 horsepower version can also be available while using option of a regular automatic transmission. All the other Corsas have 5 or 6-speed manual gearboxes. Sporty Vauxhall Corsa and VXR models top the stove. There was lots of performance on tap while using Vauxhall Corsa VXR. As a result of its 205 horsepower 1.6-litre turbo engine, top speed is 143 miles per hour, although it will scorch from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 6.5 seconds. From summer 2018, the Corsa XC was introduced, boasting the suspension setup from the VXR model along with Vauxhall's 150 horsepower 1.4-litre turbo engine. Vauxhall quotes a maximum speed of 129 miles per hour because of this gap-plugging warm hatch. Be aware, though, that at launch the GSI are more expensive on PCP finance compared to Ford Fiesta ST, a model while using power to take within the GSI's discontinued your government, the VXR. Latest deals from Buick are Vauxhall Corsa 1.4T, 100, Limite. £7,500 or £117 each month. Vauxhall Corsa Say 1.4 EcoFlex 5, £8,598 or £142 each month. See all deals on Vauxhall Corsa. Representative example. Representative APR of 7.9% borrowing £10,509 over 48 months on HP type finance. The total amount payable can be £250 30 days, having a total cost of credit of £1,483 plus a total amount payable of £11,992. Dennis Buick Car Limited, 3132 Alfred Place, London, WC1E7DP. GB 09151058, is usually a credit broker regulated by FCA, FRN 667368. The verdict. On paper, it'd be simple to overlook the Vauxhall Corsa, especially in contrast to the younger Ford Fiesta, Seat Ibiza and Volkswagen Polo, but it really still performs very strongly from the sales charts. All this despite often poor value standard PCP finance offers from Vauxhall that start to see the Corsa costing more every month than newer and even more talented Skoda, Mazda, Ford and Seat rivals, with like-for-like finance terms. Yes, most versions are good they are driving, plus the Corsa comes in a wide selection of trims and specs to fit most needs, but Vauxhall finance deals must be better. The Corsa's monthly installments are more than its ability most of the time, especially with all the GS that's trounced with the far faster, more exciting, better equipped Ford Fiesta Street. If you were negotiate a large cash discount or discounted PCP finance deal, however, the rest with the range is competent but still very much worth recommendation. Stick with one with the small petrol engines, and obtain a good deal so you can't go far wrong. Vauxhall Corsa Hatchback Review. Smooth revving 1.0 litre would be a gem. Non-turbo 1.4 petrols are slow. VXR provides the Fiesta ST a run due to its money. An overhauled variety of petrol and diesel engines included a superb 3-cylinder motor and was headed using a 206 horsepower unit to the VXR. If this generation of Vauxhall Corsa has been around since 2014, but effectiveness comes second to efficiency. However, The stove of engines was significantly slimmed down in spring 2018. Wonderful power plant sparring the 1.4-litre motors as well as the VXR-specific 1.6 being discontinued. Vauxhall Corsa petrol engines. Unless you cover significantly high mileages, petrol engines tend to accommodate smaller cars much better than diesels, hence why there have been so many of those to choose from if this iteration with the Corsa was published. The turbocharged 1.4-litre motor produces 100 horsepower but more torque at 200 Nm from 1,850 revolutions per minute, delivering a 115 mph top speed plus an 11-second time to the 0 to 62 mph acceleration test. Vauxhall claims overall fuel efficiency of 51.4 miles per gallon, with CO2 output 128 grams/km. Which makes it the greenest Corsa following your 2018 engine pairback. A 5-speed manual transmission is standard. Available just with trim can be a 150 horsepower version on the 1.4-litre turbo, delivering a highly regarded speed of 129 miles per hour and completing the 0 to 62 miles per hour run in 8.9 seconds. Completing the petrol lineup are two non-turbocharged 1.4-litre units, with 75 horsepower and 90 horsepower respectively, the lower-powered version replacing the previously available to 1.2-litre with 70 horsepower in spring 2016. The 75 horsepower derivative could be the slowest on the Corsas, trundling nearly 101 miles per hour and choosing a leisurely 15.5 seconds to accomplish the 0 to 62 miles per hour test. With its 5-speed manual gearbox, efficiency is rated between 54.3 miles per gallon and 55.4 miles per gallon, with CO2 emissions of 118 to 120 grams/km. There's more variation using the 90 horsepower 1.4-litre. Its standard 5-speed manual gearbox is usually optionally substituted for either a self-shifting 6-speed automatic transmission. Top speed for that manual is 109 miles per hour. As you move, the automatics is 106 miles per hour. Accelerating coming from a standstill to 62 miles per hour takes 13.2 seconds from the manual, 13.9 seconds using the auto. Wheel size and the entire body style again influence efficiency about the 1.4-litre Corsa. Manual versions post figures of 50.4 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions of 130 grams/km, beating the automatic models. 44.1 to 46.3 miles per gallon and 142 to 149 grams/km. Rapid Corsa VXR flagship. Despite the performance pack's name, written the Vauxhall Corsa VXR's speed is a similar whether or not you have it fitted. The numbers say it'll cover 0 to 62 miles per hour in 6.5 seconds, which can be very quick thinking about the price on the car, and top speed can be an impressive 143 miles per hour, but numbers mean little without perspective, and Vauxhall will be the first to boast until this car is slightly quicker to accelerate from 0 to 62 miles per hour than its main rival, the prior generation Ford Fiesta Street. Even better is just how great it sounds having its Remus exhaust. The aftermarket specialist firm has generated a system which reduces back pressure for better performance, however it sounds great too, especially with all the performance pack fitted. The turbocharged 1.6-litre is smooth, versatile and refined, though we did find there were to wait just a little longer compared to figures suggest with the full 280 Nm of torque. Vauxhall claims it's provided by just 1,900 revolutions per minute, but within the higher gears you'll have to wait patiently until at the least 2,500 revolutions per minute for something that occurs. Even then it's only accessible for 5 seconds on overboost. Still, it can feel as though it's got the entire 205 horsepower and 245 Nm the firm claims during normal driving. It's a great job too, since there's another aspect for this car's performance that feels brilliant, the gear change. A conventional enough 6-speed manual box, the VXR is given a heavily revised, short-shifting lever which can be an absolute joy to utilize. Vauxhall Corsa engines will no longer available. Most interesting may be the 3-cylinder, 1.0 litre turbo accessible in 90 horsepower and 115 horsepower forms, both producing 170 Nm from 1,800 revolutions per minute. It's a refined and relatively hushed engine, setting up a far less intrusive engine note than Ford's 1.0 litre EcoBoost does inside Fiesta, but performance is adequate instead of sporty. Opt to the 90 horsepower version and also you'll see a high speed of 112 miles per hour, accelerating from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 11.9 seconds. The 115 horsepower edition generates figures of 121 miles per hour in 10.3 seconds. With standard start, stop function as well as other EcoFlex fuel-saving measures, together using a 6-speed manual gearbox, fuel efficiency is rated between 62.8 miles per gallon and 65.7 miles per gallon for your 90 horsepower version and 56.5 miles per gallon and 57.6 miles per gallon for your 115 horsepower model, depending on wheel size and amount of doors, contributing to CO2 emissions between 100 grams/km and 117 grams/km. If you cover any type of mileage that will need a diesel, there's two improved versions on the 1.3 litre T, producing 75 horsepower and 95 horsepower. Both motors are fitted having a 5-speed manual gearbox, EcoFlex braking, energy recovery and start-stop functions. Choose the lower powered diesel, plus your top speed potential is curbed at 102 miles per hour. Going from 0 to 62 miles per hour in the pedestrian 14.8 seconds. The 94 bhp engine manages 113 miles per hour in 11.9 seconds. As is often a theme within the Corsa, wheel size and the entire body style vary the claimed efficiency results. The 75 horsepower posts figures of 74.3 miles per gallon to 76.3 miles per gallon, with CO2 emissions of 99 grams/km to 100 grams/km. However, these are bested with the 95 horsepower version, 83.1 to 88.3 miles per gallon, 85 to 89 grams/km CO2. Much improved driver involvement weighed against its predecessor. More accurate steering across the product range than before, too. Sportier models feature stiffer suspension. Previous editions of Vauxhall's Corsa haven't been blessed with all the most engaging of driving experiences. In order to report positively for the current model's handling traits is often a welcome change. Although this Corsa is predicated heavily on its predecessor's underpinnings, the suspension may be thoroughly improved. This means it not merely rides with greater compliance, particularly models with 16-inch wheels or smaller, but it really also feels noticeably more nimble and precise inside way it changes direction. The center of gravity lowered by 5 mm incorporates a positive effect, especially in combination together with the stiffer body structure and much more accurate power steering, tuned specifically for your UK's rougher roads. Vauxhall Corsa Sports chassis is stiffer with additional direct steering. Corsas riding on 17-inch wheels possess a stiffer suspension arrangement, in addition to a retuned, more direct steering setup. Combined together with the more powerful, but discontinued, 1.0 litre engine, it makes an excellent attempt at being fun to operate a vehicle, cornering flatly as winding B roads are tackled with enthusiasm, yet remaining positively compliant about where this setup generally seems to fall down ends undulating surfaces at higher speeds in which the Corsa's composure is lost, the entire body control feeling like it's still dealing while using previous bump while you hit the following one. You can forgive this more in the event the Corsa's a slightly faster one, but combine the stiffer suspension that has a less powerful engine plus the combination isn't alluring. Under heavier braking over such road surfaces you're conscious that the automobile has a tendency to skip in the dips from the undulations, making the Corsa feel somewhat unstable. Performance Pack transforms Vauxhall Corsa VXR. We couldn't review this aspect on the VXR without first mentioning that it's an activity of two cars, the conventional one as well as the optional Performance Pack equipped version. As a regular car without the need of optional extras, it could well be difficult for us to call the Corsa VXR's handling anything aside from above average. Its steering features a decent enough weighting with it, but the not enough a clever front differential means the lining wheel spins up around the exit of corners, and that's regarding it. This VXR also doesn't change direction in a sprightly way because it sits slightly higher with softer settings within the dampers, so there's a modicum more body roll there. Its suspension can be a clever system which Vauxhall claims regulates itself, utilizing a valve system to instantly adjust your vehicle's firmness based about the road conditions you're driving on. In simple terms, the damper decides how soft or firm the vehicle needs to be. It's a method which works pretty much, but is the most suitable forgotten about really considering that the driver doesn't have a control over it. You'll probably do not be able to detect the main difference between the two unless you're testing in a lab environment. Nevertheless, it's worth noting that on a regular VXR there's a noticeably more leisurely ride when driving slowly. To really morph it into a rival to the cream with the crop within this class, namely the Ford Fiesta SD along with the Peugeot 208 GTI by Peugeot Sport, you'll want to install the Performance Pack. Very firm Vauxhall Corsa VXR Performance Pack ride quality. Available from new only being a factory-fitted extra. The Vauxhall Corsa VXR with Performance Pack can be an entirely different thing. Forget any semblance of ride comfort, the clever adaptive dampers from specialists Kony make no apologies here. The suspension springs allow the auto to sit 10 mm lower compared to the previous generation in this car, but in addition get retuned for just a harder setting which eliminates most body roll. Instead you find a car that changes direction impressively while boasting breathtaking traction on account of the clever limited slip differential. This latter feature, built by specialists Drexler, is often a huge part from the hot Corsa's appeal. It utterly transforms the handling, offering a degree of driver engagement that a few with this sector can rival. Simply get the vehicle turned in and place the power down, you'll be astonished for the purchase you're afforded, even on wet and greasy roads. The steering can be a nicely set up system too, feeling direct and accurate but additionally well weighted for enthusiastic driving. Special mention here travels to the litre, that is sculpted to learn effectively to keep the driver's hands inside the correct position. Dashboard feels high quality due to this segment. Logical layout with decent switchgear. Plenty of driving position adjustment. While similarities between previous and this also generation of Corsa are obvious inside and outside despite the makeover, its dashboard does much to lift the ambience from the Vauxhall. It's an important quality jump through the harder, unappealing plastics of the predecessor, for this one with many different glossy black surfaces as well as a squidgy soft touch molding with the top with the dashboard. Not only does it feel more premium, it's better built and suppresses noise more efficiently too. Some in the switchgear is carried over business Vauxhalls, such as thick, cylindrical steering column ones for wipers and indicators, but there's an attractive action to most with the buttons and controls. Multimedia method is one on the best in a very supermini. Particularly easy to use will be the 7-inch IntelliLink multimedia color touchscreen, designed for design models and above. Its clear graphics and responsive interface don't make it hard to use for the move, along with providing a USB audio connection and Bluetooth syncing for phone and streaming purposes, but why the screen should go black once the volume's adjusted is just as distracting as it truly is baffling. Optimizing your driving comfort is usually a doddle, using a height-adjustable driver's seat designed for all courses, much like a tire adjustable for reach and angle and electric door mirrors. Forward visibility is a great one, aided from the small triangular windows ahead from the front doors, while rearward vision may be improved together with the optional reversing camera and parking sensors. Standard suspension could be the best setup. Sports suspension lacks compliance at speed. Performance Pack VXR is firm. Stick with models riding on 16-inch wheels or smaller, plus the improvements in Vauxhall Corsa comfort levels are impressive. It remains a very simple car drive and automobile, though with superior bump and rut absorption than before, and also a lighter, more direct electrical power steering system, which is usually lightened further to improve urban nimbleness. Overall, it feels a plusher environment to waste time in, with many different equipment and higher-grade materials used during the entire cabin, although its measures are carried over from before. How much room is there within a Vauxhall Corsa? This isn't a real bad thing, since the outgoing Corsa would be a spacious small car, meaning 2 6-footers ought to be able to relax in reasonable room behind front seat occupants of any similar height. Squeezing a fifth person from the center rear seat is less bearable. Finding an appropriate driving position is simple. All models use a height-adjustable driver's seat as well as a steering column adjustable for both angle and distance. Visibility is a useful one too, the Corsa's large glass area continuing from before. All models barring the base spec Active have aircon as standard, while climate control is various on versions inside the upper echelons with the Corsa hierarchy. Infotainment is boosted while using energy models onwards, detailed with Vauxhall's IntelliLink touchscreen. The graphics to understand and responsive, Bluetooth connectivity is advantageous too, but we didn't like how if you adjust the amount the whole screen goes black save for that white numbers, a little bit distracting inside your peripheral vision when using the tire controls. Ride comfort, not much of a Vauxhall Corsa VXR strength. With the VXR it's significantly a game of two halves. If you're after the hot hatch having a more cosseting ride compared to a Ford Fiesta ST or perhaps a Renault Sport Clio 200, this is it. We found it relatively quiet inside the cabin along with the engine, while sounding a bit hard worked on the top in the rev range, never drones on irritatingly. The Recaro seats are particularly good. It's a good noted because of its motorsport-derived seating, which ones have become supportive, otherwise the last word in soft, sofa-like luxury. However, if you're looking to get a hot hatch using a bone-jarring chassis, plenty of road noise, a loud exhaust and brilliant handling, this is it too, once you've specced the performance pack. The combined large wheels, sticky high-performance tires and lowered suspension isn't a cozy car in the fastest and best handling form. That differential doesn't help here either, because it includes a tendency to tug with the steering wheel when cornering, so it's a consistent battle. Sure, this wheel assisted to take care of well, nevertheless it's not probably the most relaxing experience. Also remember, comfort is compromised on core Corsa models because of their 17-inch alloy wheels plus the sports suspension settings that is included in them. It's noticeably stiffer, but nevertheless compliant, out partying, yet on rougher surface roads at higher speeds the firmness may become tiresome. 8 trim levels as a whole from Active to XC. All feature heated windscreens and cruise control. Useful choice of extra cost possibilities. Despite claiming to get simplified the number, by summer 2016 the Corsa range had expanded to 11 trim levels. However, rationalization kicked in during 2018 when the present lineup of Active, Design, Energy, Sport, 3NAF, 3VX Line NAF Black, SANAF and XC became available. Standard Vauxhall Corsa hatchback equipment. Entry point for that range will be the Corsa Active, which comes with cruise control, heated windscreen, remote central locking, electric front windows, hill start assist, 15-inch alloy wheels, CD player, USB and Bluetooth connectivity. Next up may be the Corsa Design, which has a kit roster which includes front fog lights, LED day running lights, 15-inch steel wheels with full-width trims, IntelliLink multimedia system having a 7.0-inch color touch screen, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, air conditioning. Progressing for the Corsa Energy Nets U. Automatic lights, rain-sensitive wipers, 16-inch alloy wheels, electric door mirrors, heated front seats, heated tire. Opting for your Corsa Sport can even mean you make use of dark-tinted rear windows, sports front seats, alloy look pedals, Dialing in the sportiness, an additional notch will be the Corsa 3 nav, which adds full European sat-nav. This might be further built upon by choosing Corsa 3 VX Line Nav Black. VX Line specific bodykit. Sports suspension. 17-inch alloy wheels. OnStar concierge service. Wi-Fi hotspot. Auto-dimming rear-view mirror. If a little luxury might be more your thing, the Corsa C-Nav uses the Energy model since it's spacious, adding front and rear parking sensors. Chrome look exterior trims. OnStar concierge service. Sat-nav. Auto-dimming rear-view mirror. Heated leader. Heated front seats. 60 hours 40 minutes split rear seats. Introduced in summer 2018, the Corsa C has much on the looks with the VXR, though lower running costs. VXR look bodykit. 17-inch 2-color alloy wheels. Darkened rear privacy glass. Carbon fiber look exterior detailing. Sports front seats. Flat bottom tire. Optional Vauxhall Corsa hatchback extras. With a great number of models along with a wealth of standard equipment anyway, options to personalize the Corsa are limited and largely constrained to pieces of safety equipment. Depending within the model, it is possible to specify aircon or electronic climate control for greater temperature setting precision. Parking sensors are offered also on many models, as is usually a reversing camera and self-parking function. Bi-xenon headlamps with cornering function may be additionally fitted, with the automatic main beam function sold. Cover a great deal of motorway miles and features, for example blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning and traffic sign recognition might you have to be appealing, while specifying forward collision warning can help reduce your premiums. Most interesting, if you're a cyclist, would be the inbuilt flex fix rack that slides out on the lower rear bumper, and adequate to securely hold a set of bikes. What the Corsa doesn't offer may be the degree of customization accessible to customers from the smaller, more fashion-focused Adam. Rated 4 stars by Euro NCAP. Nose design absorbs impacts better. Plenty of safety kit fully briefed to help. Vauxhall says the Euro NCAP test is a lot more rigorous than before. That's why this Corsa incorporates a 4-star rating in contrast to its predecessor's 5. That was way back in 2014, though, and also the standards happened to be raised further subsequently. Consequently, an automobile scoring 4 stars inside current tougher test may just be notably safer versus the Corsa. Its longer nose gives better absorption of energy from the unfortunate event of your frontal accident, while each Corsa comes complete with 6 airbags to help expand cushion the blow inside the event of any crash. Further security measures include Bluetooth connectivity for mobiles and LED day running illuminates front to make sure you're seen with less effort. Front fog lights are standard on higher spec models too, with bi-xenon headlamps featuring on VXR models. Lots of safety kit inside the Vauxhall Corsa options list. While the most up-to-date Corsa is bristling with standard equipment, much of it truly is to do with making life far more than being safety-specific. If you would like your small Vauxhall fitted with safety-enhancing headlamps with cornering function, collision avoidance warning, blind spot warning and lane departure notifications, you should tick away in the options box. One safety and convenience feature you may welcome on frosty mornings may be the electrically heated windscreen, installed as standard on all Corsas. It's also worth noting that using the performance pack, the phased-out VXR is usually a lively little thing, especially on greasy roads. The limited slip differential tugs on the steering, meaning you need to be within the ball constantly. If this doesn't seem like much fun, you most likely want to consider the conventional car instead. The flip side could be that the performance pack includes better brakes and tires, so it'll stop and grip a lot better than standard cars. Watch, Vauxhall Corsa Euro NCAP crash test. Boot space is okay in spite of the Corsa's age. Split rear seats not standard across the stove. Active and externally accessible as a 3-door. Small cars should never be going to be vast carry-alls efficient at carrying home enormous boxes of Scandinavian flatpack, but despite its carryover cabin space, Vauxhall Corsa practicality remains reasonably good. Yes, it's spacious enough for 4 adults to inhabit the lining relatively comfortably, with storage for just a few odds and ends inside the front door bins and in the remodeled dashboard. There were no practicality party tricks, being a flip-forward front passenger seat to encourage the Corsas to take longer loads with less effort, aside from your flex-fix rack. This optional device slides out such as a cassette through the rear bumper, revealing an inbuilt car bike rack that includes supplementary rear lights for visibility and legality. We were disappointed that only the bigger-priced Say-Nuff and discontinued Delete models come having a 60 hours 40 minutes split rear seat as standard, compromising the Corsa's flexibility. Boot space itself though is reasonable, at 285 litres together with the seats up, and 1050 litres using the back ones tumbled over.